Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Check it out. It's the VKAR V2 SCTX10 stadium truck or Baja truck. This box is so big I had to kind of pull the camera up more than I normally do because it's just a giant truck. Anyway, today is going to be all about a full review on this. We're going to unbox it, set it up, fully inspect it, and then take it out. Don't really have a groomed dirt track to really test this on, but we're going to just do kind of a neighborhood bash, run it in some grass, some rocks, some pavement, a little bit of a dirt, and just see if anything breaks and just see how it is in those kind of conditions, and then give it a final pros and cons. So let's get started. So as you can see guys, I got a bunch of other stuff I'm reviewing today, a bunch of trucks, so watch out for those reviews. Just take a look at kind of what it has in the box. A bunch of anodized aluminum components in here. We can see that it's got all kinds of stuff. It's got aluminum shocks, telescoping drive shafts, all kinds of stuff. So, and also aluminum bulkheads, it looks like right there. This is like the Pro version. This is the V1. This is the V2 that I got. And it's also claiming this is waterproof. It's kind of surprising that they'd have a fully waterproof one. I know TRAXXAS has some of their trucks are fully waterproof, so this will be interesting. Maybe we'll try to run it through some water as well. And then this is just the standard version. And then on the other side of the box here, we can see that this is the Pro version. So they have a picture of that all black Pro version. It looks like it's kind of all blacked out with some golding here. So if you wanted to get that version too, you can go ahead and check on the website down below and check on what's included in that Pro version. Anyway, before I get ahead of myself, we do want to unbox this, don't we? So just sliding this bad boy out, spin this around without knocking my coffee off the table. And there she blows. Nice. So look at this thing. So it's all wrapped in this protective covering for the body. Man, this thing looks really good. I remember buying a body like this for my TRAXXAS E-Max, a stadium truck body, and it was pretty awesome to have a body like this on it. I'm just trying to figure out how to pull this thing out. Looks like it's tie wrapped on the bottom. There's a manual right here. It looks like a few Allen wrenches as well kind of fell out. There we go. One there. Let's see if that worked. Yeah, nice. Oh man, that thing is so nice looking. It's bigger than I thought it would be. This thing is giant. Should be the controller. So let me just open this up. Get the controller out. Let's see what's in here. There's a charger on this side, and on this side there's actually something else here. There's a plug on that side. Take this out of the bubble wrap. There's our controller. So a rather cheap and generic controller, but if it works, hey, it works. We can always upgrade to a better controller if we want to. And also a little binding plug fell out of that package as well to bind our controller up if we need to. It should be pre-bound, but just in case. The controller takes 4 AA batteries. Does have a nice rubber, not foam grip here. Power off and on. And at least we have throttle trim, steering trim, throttle rate, and steering rate. And that's really all we need. And then some throttle and steering reverse buttons there on the back if we need to. So pretty simple but functional controller. And then that charger, let's take this out of the pack. It looks like a tiny but pretty quality little cheap charger. Looks like we can do 2 and 3S from the ports on the front. And there's our little figure 8 plug there with, this is not a US plug, so this is a Euro Chinese plug. So I would have to get an adapter for this. Probably just be charging the battery on my larger hobby grade charger. Or at least they give you one in the box. Okay guys, but we want to get to the truck, don't we? So first things first, let's take off this nice protective coating. They did a great job at protecting it in shipping. There's also some protective coating on these number plates. Let's see if we need to take that off. Yeah, might as well. Flip the truck around. But look at this thing, look how wide it is. So there's like my hand, and it's definitely a lot wider than my hand. That's kind of a stupid comparison, but so look at this bad boy, man. Oh man, nice and plush too. So these guys are doing an excellent job. Look at that, it just soaks it up. So excellent job at an affordable truck that's up in kind of the actual pro racing realm. Flipping it over to the bottom, let's see what we got here. So we have 2 Velcro straps where we're going to hold on the battery, plastic tub style chassis, and then we have this really flexible, this is like a rubber plastic, really flexible little side bumpers. And this was the anodized aluminum I was talking about. Check it out. So we have it all strewn throughout the whole chassis. Not a whole lot of it, but there is aluminum where it counts. And check out all these adjustments on the front lower arms. And then we have just plastic telescoping drive shafts. Looks like we might have some anodized aluminum there in the hub there. And then you can see all the anodized aluminum bracing there. A nice big bumper here that's braced with crumple zones in the front. You can see that there. Now look at that shock tower. So that is an anodized aluminum shock tower. At least the first part of it. And then the body mount is plastic up above. So anyway, speaking of the body, let's take off these 4 body clips and see how this thing looks under the body. Nice looking body for sure. Wow, so it's got one of those dirt and dust guards, those little elastic ones that you can just pop on and off with these little hooks on the edges. You put that underneath like a little shower cap thing. That's pretty cool, isn't it? That's going to keep out splashing and dirt and dust and rocks. Anyway, here's the electronics. So it's a waterproof 10BL60. There's our little mini receiver. There's our wire coming up for the receiver there, our antenna. Waterproof on-off switch here. Programmable push button there, plus our on-off right here, and that's all encapsulated in rubber. Some more anodized aluminum throughout, strewn throughout there. You can see that we have the bulkhead bracing all in aluminum. Trying to figure out if these shocks, yes, they are. They do feel like these are aluminum. And here is the anodized aluminum adjustment. So this is a 3S, 11.1 volt, 25C VKAR 3500 milliamp hour battery with the Dean's connector. And there's our motor. So it is the Ferrell 4-pole 3650 through 3300 kV motor, brushless motor. Looks like it's all tucked in there, already tie wrapped up nicely with our bullet connectors going into the speed control. So this is going to be a really awesome setup, I believe. You can see that in the middle of the chassis we have our drive shaft going all the way from the front to back for the 4-wheel drive. And this is completely enclosed in this little screw down shield, so we're not going to get any rocks or sand in there to mess up our drive shaft. So that's great. Then it goes back into the main spur gear, and that's where the pinion gear is. This is all sealed up as well, so you don't even have to worry about that. Wow, and this thing's actually got sway bars on it. If you look in here inside the suspension, you can see that it's got this sway bar attached running all the way through that you can adjust if you want to, and it's attached to these links right here to the lower arm. So a great sway bar system. And on the rear you can probably actually see it a little better because it's silver. So see, that's that same type of sway bar. Hardened steel links up top. And then these are just fully plastic telescoping drive shafts. So apparently they're thinking that the 3S is not going to be too powerful and it's not going to twist or break these axles, actually is what they're called, on all 4 tires. So great bumpers front to back, a nice flex zone, but it's rigid up here. So you're going to get that flex when you hit, but it's not going to like bend or break anything too bad. Same with the front. You can see how it has that crumple zone there. So man, really nice. I'm really liking the look of this. I haven't even shown the tires yet. So here they are. So these are radically glued. Yes, they are. They're very glued tires. They do have nice foam in them. I'm feeling that foam. Very rubbery and flexy. They seem like they're very good rubber tires. They're going to get great grip, it feels like, and they're not going to wear out too fast. We have that kind of mud terrain tire pattern there. It is a plastic rim. They're not beadlock rims or anything because they are glued there, you can see. And it does have a black nylon nut holding it onto the hub. And I am seeing some foam blocks in here for the battery. So it looks like you could put a battery that's maybe about an inch longer. These look like 1/2-inch foam blocks on either side of the battery. So you could put a longer battery in there if you wanted to for a little higher capacity. Really liking the layout, and it's completely sealed. So dirt and rocks and water, it's saying it's waterproof. I'm not sure if I want to dunk it in the pool like I do with some of my other RC vehicles, because I'm really liking this thing and I don't really want to ruin it, but I also do want to test it. Anyway guys, all we have left to do really is put the body on, charge everything up, and take this thing out into the neighborhood, and we're going to do a full-on bash with it. We're going to run through a whole battery, and we're going to see if anything breaks and just how well this thing will try to hit some jumps too. I got a few little grassy hills we can try to jump off of, jump over some curbs. Now, you know, this is meant for a purpose-built groomed track, dirt track, of course. I don't have one of those where I live, but if there ever is one, I'm definitely going to save this one for a track like that, if it performs as well as I think it is. So anyway, let's get started and turn this thing on. So controller on, And then this guy's got this on switch underneath the body here. You can kind of see it through the wheel well. Just gonna switch it on. We hear 3 beeps, and that should be for 3S. Just using the stock 3S battery pack. Already got steering control. Wow. Sounds great already. Okay, so let's just trim it out real quick. See if it needs any trimming. Okay, so just getting kind of straight. Looks like it's pulling to the right, so we want to do steering trim. Whoa, it's got a lot of power in reverse. Anyway, steering trim, we want to trim to the left a little bit till it tracks straight. There we go, perfect. I can hear that differential slipping. It sounds like it's set for like really loose dirt. Anyway, we have our steering rate. We want to do, let's see if we want to turn this all the way up. Okay, so if you go all the way clockwise on the steering rate, we barely have any steering. But if you go all the way counterclockwise, we have our full steering here. Of course, that dog's gonna bark the whole time I'm doing this. Wonderful barking dog. Anyway, throttle trim, if we turn that all the way to the right and we pull full throttle, that's basically going to be our full throttle for like beginners or whatever. And it seems like we have really no brake in this level here. So then we turn this thing all the way counterclockwise, or as much as you want as you're learning. And there it is, full throttle control. That thing is so powerful. Remember, it is 3S. Wow. So it seems like, whoa, already have our first crash because we're in the grass. These tires are gonna grip, guys. Grip pretty tight. Wow, it is super quick though. See what the range is like with this stock controller. Again, this is the weak point of the whole kit. It's just a real simple controller. So let's go down the road here and just see what our yeah, no problem. Let's do a full throttle run. Holy smokes. That thing is so fast. Okay, so be careful with this one, guys. This is not a toy. This is a professional racing machine. Insane. Amazing though. Wow. Yeah, so I can hear that slipper just slipping to allow us to have better traction and have it stuck to the ground, you know. All right, let's try to do a couple of jumps here. And then we'll do a little bit of rock bashing. I don't want to go too hard in the rocks because, you know, these are meant for a track and you don't want to break them just because you're doing stuff it's not meant for. Nice. Oh, almost flipped it there. So this one's got such a wide stance, but it'll still try to flip just because it's got so much traction. Let's try that again. Nice. Woo, feeling great. Oh yeah, it's just power to the ground. It's keeping the power on the ground with that slipper. Okay, let's launch this here. Nice. So it won't wheelie because it looks like, I think this has a, does this have a center diff in it? I think it might, yeah it does. I can tell it does because check out the tires ballooning. Whoa. So check out the tires when we're getting traction in the back and we give it throttle. You see how the front's only spinning? That's a center diff. If it didn't have a center diff, all 4 tires would be spinning at the same speed unless it was off on one tire or the other. Then the diff takes over and one of the tires won't spin on either side. So the center diff, just what it does is it takes away, if it's wheeling, it takes away traction from the rear and puts it in the front. just so you have more power to the ground and you're not wheeling over backwards because there's so much power. That's what a center diff does. And you can tighten all that too. For this kind of situation, it may be a little bit loose. See that? It's slipping quite a bit. You may need to tighten that up a little bit. Man, but it just jumps so good. Just glides over everything. Let's try a higher speed run coming in here. Whoa! That's a shin popper for sure. Man, it's just, this is it. I want to race this kind of truck. Woo! Excellent. That's awesome. And the reason these are so cool too is because it's like a scale model of the real race trucks, you know, that they race in the Baja and the stadium racers. Woo! It's just quick. All right, move over, TRAXXAS. VKAR has got some good stuff coming up here. So I'm just gonna keep kind of jumping and bashing around here. Imagine this thing on a track, just launching giant jumps and having loads of fun. Brakes, nice. Oh man, it just keeps the power on the ground too. When it starts to bobble, it evens itself out. The diffs start working and it starts to level itself out so it doesn't have too much traction on any wheel and flip itself over. And that is a race truck for you until that happens. So it looks like in this one, if you're on a super high traction surface, that's going to be the downfall of it flipping over sideways if it's got too much traction. But again, these are made for dirt, and that's why in dirt you should be sliding and not gripping in the grass. Wow! That was like a power wheelie coming up. Amazing. Woo! Yeah, loving this truck so far. It really does, guys, feel like a purpose-built race truck, 100%. This does not feel like a toy at all. Nice. Oh, uh-oh. All right, so there's our first little bit of damage here. Let's see what happened. See that there? And it looks like it did exactly what it's supposed to do. All it did was pop off its links, and they just snap back on the ball. There we go. That's the steering link, and then we're gonna have our top camber link here. We're just gonna pop that back on, and that's it, and we're good to go. So that's actually really good that happened instead of breaking an arm or, you know, anything else. That's perfect. Looks like we're back up and running. Yep, awesome. Okay, I don't want to go too hard in the rocks because this is not meant for rock racing or rock crawling or even bashing, that matter. Really, in this kind of neighborhood, it's not even meant for this. It's meant purpose-built for racing on a groomed track or, you know, on the dirt, desert kind of stuff. But let's just try it. You are going to run into some rocks, I guess, when you are racing it. Let's just give it a try. It is pretty low profile, so it's going to kind of push the rocks and not go right over them. But it's managing. It's going to really scratch up the bottom, it seems. As you can see, it's not really a crawler, but it does go over them pretty easy because it's got a it's got oil-filled suspension. Let's just go ahead and do a quick little crawl. even though this is not by any means a crawler whatsoever. Yeah, it's just made for racing fast. Still manages though. Oh, flipping it back up. Nice. Looks like we lost a number. Yep, we lost a number, so that'll happen. You may want to screw those on or bolt them on. We lost it right up here somewhere when we rolled. There it is. So I wouldn't really consider that a con, but it does happen, so keep that in mind. Get your numbers on there good or they'll come off. Wow! There's just so much power. Look at that. Holy smokes. Whew. See what we can do with this jump. Ooh. A little bit of gravel. Nice. Oh man, I want to race this on a track. Make me a track. Maybe eventually someday I'll make a little track for these and over at my dad's place or in this yard, who knows. They're just so fun. It'll actually be better for the reviews too if I have some real tracks to race on. Oh, that was a nice jump, but there we go again. See, what I did was I tapped the brake in the air. So once you get really good, you know when to tap the brake and when not to. And so the same thing happened on, was this the same side? I think this is the opposite side. But that's a really good brake point. Look at this. It's not really a brake point, it's just a pop point. So all we do is push these back on top there. And the steering link right down here. So I'm putting my finger on the other side here. And we'll just push that on really hard. So I think that's great. Really a good pop point so you don't damage anything. And it doesn't seem to pop off unless you really have some crazy hard hits right in the front of the wheel. Oh, rolled it again. Really easy to roll in grass. Whoop. Digging it. Man, how much longer can I go on this thing? Feels like it might be getting a little bit weaker, just barely. Land on your wheels, yes. Full throttle, woohoo! What a blast. Try to pop up on this again. Nice. So you can see that air controllability too when you're jumping. Hit the brake or the throttle and you will just point that thing in the air wherever you want to go. Or even turning. Let's try a little turning thing. So we'll jump and then I'm going to turn to the right or left and you'll see kind of it move. See that? So I turned to the right and then I turned to the left, sorry, and then the right actually went down a little bit. So very good air control with trucks like these. Oh, we popped it again. Let's come on back and re-pop that in. I could hear them both pop too when it hit. It was like pack pack. Or at least one pop. Yeah, both of them popped again. So, I don't know. Do you want that to be happening when you're racing? Maybe not. So that could be a slight little con that these are popping off. so easily be because it's just the grass, you know, because that's popping on there really tight. So it's taking quite a bit of force to pop those off actually. This one popped off right on the hub that time. Snap them back in and we're going again. Whew. So you see that? It can wheelie, but then it figures out, oh, it's transferring the power from the back to the front, because you don't want it to wheelie over backwards when you're racing. You want as much power to the ground as possible without wheeling over backward. Woohoo! Let's see if we can jump the gap here. Oh, almost. I'm surprised. Oh, it did pop again. Okay. So hard hits to the front are making these pop off. Nope. I don't think I'm going to be able to jump that gap. Oh, oh, we're back on our feet. And do we have any pop toe links? Nope, we're good. Okay, starting to get weak. Whew. Oh, okay, okay. All right, that's a good durability test for you. I just nailed part of that curb way too hard with the right front tire. That wasn't very smart on my part. Oh, or maybe it was a left front? I don't know. I thought I hit this one, but maybe I just drove it into the ground super hard. So at least we know these things are popping and not breaking. That was a really hard hit. It felt like it hit super hard on this one. And it drove this side into the ground really hard when it flipped. But nothing's broken. All running good. Oh, I actually caught some air on that one. I want to get this thing going full blast. Oh, again. Did it again. Thank you for popping and not breaking. And they're not bent. These top links are not bent at all, or the steering links for that matter. So they're hardened steel and they're popping before they're breaking. Excellent. All right, I want to try that one more time. Amazing. Yes. Well guys, it sounds like I can do this all day, but I'm gonna have to wrap it up here because I could just be driving forever. This thing seems like it's just I must have been driving for like half hour already. It seems like it. And this thing just keeps going. Of course we're getting those pops, but that's about it. Excellent truck. Whoa. Can even launch down there too. Whoa. Nice. This thing's dialed in to be straight. Whew. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. It's just too much fun and I'm playing for too long. I'm gonna run out of room on my video card. Anyway, let me turn this thing off, guys. Let's go through the pros and cons. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna kind of leave it on. I think the fan blowing on the ESC is actually better than turning it off right away, as long as your battery isn't just totally dead, because what's happening is that ESC is really hot and kind of like a regular car engine. If you turn it off and there's no cooling fan, that's when it's the hottest point of the engine, getting the hottest, because you've got no airflow and everything just sitting there and heating up. So I'm just gonna leave that on for a sec, but check it out. Nothing, no damage whatsoever to the body. I think I even flipped it over a couple times and I can see just a barely tiny scratch right on top. Nothing else whatsoever is wrong with it. A little bit of scratching on the wheel well edges there, and that's it. Just amazing. So watch out for those number plates on the sides. You might lose those if you're tumbling a lot. See how this shield did. Look at that. It kept all these stickers and grass out. That would have all been inside of it. Let's go ahead and pull this thing off and see what exactly is in there. Just a little bit of dust, just from what could get through this screen. So great little dust screen there. You can see how it's just like grass particle dust on there. Engine, whoo, that engine is hot. The motor actually is very hot. When I first saw this and I was unboxing it with you guys in the living room, I did have a feeling it was going to be great, just because it feels like a really good setup as far as like the oil filled shocks and how everything's just set up, and the aluminum bracing all over the place. Phenomenal 3S. I don't know why you'd want more power than that. The battery it comes with is perfect. That's almost too much power. Does it have a center diff? It's definitely not here, so it must be just a slipper clutch right here, acting also as like a center diff from the front to the back, I think is what's happening, unless there's some kind of hidden center diff somewhere. But you can see how on a track this thing would just handle like phenomenally perfect. The runtime, oh my goodness, I couldn't even drain this battery, you know? I've been running for at least a half hour and it still had plenty of power. Tires perfect. How these links were popping off, that is perfect. I love that, because instead of breaking things like the arms, you know, bending these guys here, they're just popping off. So these two, just about every time I hit super hard, just like this, boom, this would pop or this would pop. Actually, they both popped at the same time. So I think that's a phenomenal pop point to keep from, I know I said that a lot, but to just keep from it being damaged. Great bumpers. Everything is really pliable plastic and rubber, so you're not going to really crack anything. I was hitting stuff pretty hard. Didn't really get to do a lot of jumping. Did some small jumping on the grass over here, just because I don't have a huge jump for this. But like I said, this is a purpose-built racer for, you know, stadium, track, desert racing, or desert racing. So you're not going to really want to bash only with this. You're going to want to race it if you're going to be buying something like this. But, you know, it did pretty well in the bash anyway. Full ball bearings. I'm seeing bearings in the steering components as well. I think you're getting a great package. Something like this is competing directly with more of the name brand stuff like TRAXXAS and whatnot. It looks like it's open in the receiver, so I don't see how that's going to be waterproof. The speed control does say waterproof, so that might be okay. And then the servo, it doesn't really seem sealed to me. So I don't think that's really going to be realistically waterproof either. So I'd say if you get one of these, keep it out of the water. Maybe a little bit of splashing through puddles, but just don't submerge it in water is my recommendation. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for the VKAR SCTX10 version 2. That's definitely a mouthful. I hope that was informative to you guys. Don't forget the links down below, down in the description, down below the video. If you want to check out how much this thing costs and more of the specs on it, go visit that link. It'll tell you all about it. And I really hope you enjoyed that review. That was super fun for me. This one gets 2 thumbs up from me. Just a phenomenal truck, right up there with the competition on the race proven name brand trucks. So good job, VKAR. These are the same guys that made the Bison, and they also made some more of those bashing big monster trucks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next review.